the user that I created, and I'm going to paste that crazy password from earlier, and then just click on login. And now we just have to verify our email. So I'm just going to verify that's correct, and it is. So I'm just going to say this email is correct. Okay, cool. So here we are inside the WordPress dashboard, and it looks really crazy right now with all these notifications and such. So just go ahead and click on the X on everything that you see. Cool, there we go. Just kind of clean things up, makes it look a lot better. So next thing that we're going to do is change our password to a custom one. So to do that, just go on over to users over here on the left, and then go to all users. And then you're just going to go ahead and click on your name, and then just scroll all the way to the bottom, and then you'll see account management, you'll see new password. We're going to click on generate password, and we're going to delete the one that it gives us, and we're going to type in our own new custom one. Cool, so now just go ahead and click on update profile. Okay, so now we're going to move on to step number 3, which is to activate a new theme. And the theme we're going to be using is called Astra. So in order to get Astra, we're just going to go on over to appearance over here on the left-hand menu, and then just click on themes. Cool, and then if we scroll down, you can see that these are currently installed themes. We've got 2019, 2017, 16, and 2020. And if we actually go up to our website name up here, I'm just going to go to visit site. I'm going to right click that and open it up in a new tab, just so you can see this is what our current website looks like. It's super boring, super plain. Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and start changing that. So I'm just going to cancel out of that. And we're just going to scroll down to this big add new theme button right here. We're going to click on that. Cool, and then you'll see a search bar right over here, and we're just going to type in Astra. There we go, and it's this one right here, this first one. So now just go ahead and click on install, and then just click on activate. Cool, so now that just activated our new theme, and it's still going to look really boring if we were to go up to our website and take a look at it, because we actually haven't built anything for the website yet. So in order to build it, we need to get our page builder plugin. So step number 4 is to activate plugins. And we're going to be getting a few different ones. So the first one that we're going to need is that page builder plugin called Elementor. So I'm just going to go on over to plugins down here, and then go over to add new. Cool, so now we're just going to go on over to the search bar over here on the right, and we're going to type in Elementor, like that. And then you'll see it's this first one right here, Elementor Page Builder. It's got 3 million active installations and 5-star ratings from nearly 5,000 people. So you know that it is super legit, really awesome. So I'm just going to click on install now, and then just go ahead and click activate. Cool, so now we're going to need another plugin that's called Essential Add-ons for Elementor. And this is going to give us some extra tools to use in Elementor, some extra widgets and such. So, and I'll show you that later, but let's go ahead and get the plugin now. So I'm just going to go back down to plugins and then go over to add new again. And then from the search bar on the right, I'm just going to type in Essential Add-ons for Elementor, like that. And then you'll see the plugin right here, Essential Add-ons for Elementor. Go ahead and click on install now, and then click activate. Awesome. Now the last plugin that we're going to need is for our Instagram feed to show up on our website. So what we're going to do is just go back to plugins and go to add new again. And then from the search bar, I'm just going to type in Instagram. And then you'll see Smash Balloon social photo feed right here. So if that doesn't pull up in Instagram, go ahead and type in Smash Balloon social photo feed, and it should pop up. And again, you can see 900,000 active installations, 5 stars. It's awesome. So go ahead and install now, and then activate. Okay, cool. So now that our plugins have been installed and activated, we can move on to step number 5, customize your website. So this is the fun part. This is where we're going to start dragging and dropping and building out our website. And the first thing that I'm going to show you is that you can start with one of the hundreds of different templates that Elementor has to offer through Astra, which is our theme. So you should have a notification right here that says thank you for installing Astra, and it says that you can use these starter template sites. So if you want to get started with that, just go ahead and click the Get Started button. Cool, and then once it activates, it's going to ask you to select your page builder, and in this case we're using Elementor, so I'm going to go ahead and select Elementor and then just click on Next. Cool, and then here is the library of over 100 ready-made templates. And if you want to search by just the free ones, I recommend just clicking on Free right here. And then you can browse through all of these. And there's just tons of different ones. And if you hover over it, it will show you the whole website. And really, it doesn't matter what it says or what the website is necessarily about. What really matters is what the layout looks like. So where are the pictures, where's the text in relation to pictures, how does the whole thing kind of look? Because you can replace all the pictures, the text, the buttons, everything. So really just pay attention to the layout. And if you like one of these, then you can just click on the preview button right here to see what it would look like. And then you can scroll around the website just like this. And you will be able to edit everything. And if you want to use this website, then you can just go ahead and click on the import site button, and it will import everything, all the pictures, everything for you, and then you can go in and replace everything. But I mainly just wanted to show you how to use one of these starter template sites. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the X to get out. But for this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to use Elementor from scratch first. So what we need to do first in order to start creating the home page for our website is to create a new home page. So in order to do that, just go on over to Pages and then go over to Add New. And then from here, we can go ahead and name our page. So I'm just going to click on the X to disable these little tips. Let's name this page Home Page, like that. And then over here on the right-hand menu, if we just scroll down, close Astra Settings, and then open up Page Attributes, you'll see Template. It'll say Default Template. We're just going to change that to Elementor Full Width. And that is a very, very important part. So once you do that, just go up to Publish, and then Publish again. Cool, so now we've published our home page. And what we need to do next is tell WordPress to use this blank page as our home page, because if we go to our website right now, if I just go up to my name up here and then go over to Visit Site, you can see it's not using this new page that we've created called home page. It's got this stuff on it, and it says Hello World, which is actually a post. So we need to tell WordPress to use the correct page. So to do that, just go ahead and click on Customize. And then in this menu, I'm just going to scroll down and you'll see Home Page Settings right here. Just open that up and then just click on a static page. And then underneath Home Page, just select Home Page, which we created earlier. Cool, so now you can see this is our blank home page. And this is actually the footer right here. So we actually need to put stuff in between the header and the footer. We're going to be building it out ourselves. So now just go ahead and click on Publish. And then just go ahead and click on the X. And then just go on over to Edit Page. And then now we can edit with Elementor right here. Cool, so this will open up Elementor Page Builder. And inside of Elementor, you've got a menu over here on the left where you can drag all these different widgets in to your website. So in order to do that, what you need to do first is click on the plus icon to add a new section. And then you can select the structure, which is basically the number of columns that you want. So in this case, I'm just going to select one big column like that. So that just created a new section with a column inside of it. So the section is in blue, and then the column is actually in gray inside of it. So right now we've got our section selected, because you can see right up here it says Edit Section on this left-hand side menu. So with our section selected, and you know that you're selected on the section whenever you click on these 6 dots right here. And then with that selected, we're going to add a background first. So to do that, just go on over to the Style tab right here and open that up. And then with background type, we're going to go ahead and click on Classic, which is the little paintbrush. And then you can either add a color like this. So if you click on color, you can drag around and that will change the color of that section. But in this case, I'm just going to clear it because we're going to put an image back there. So I'm going to click off, and then underneath image, I'm going to choose image. and then I'm going to upload some files. So right here I'm underneath upload files, and then we're just going to click on select files. All right, so I've actually provided all of these images for you as well as the website template in the description below. So if you do want to follow along with all of these same images, then go ahead and click on that link and download them. Okay, so if you are, I'm going to go ahead and click on the hero image right here, and then just click on open. And that will then upload the image, which you can see this hero image is 1300 by 984 pixels. So my recommendation for a hero image, which is probably going to be your largest image on your website at the very top, I would recommend not going any more than about 1500 pixels by around 1200 pixels. That's like the maximum, because if you go too much higher than that, if you have an image that's around 3000 pixels, it will slow down the load time of your website. So when people go load up your website on their phone or their desktop or their tablet, it's going to take a while, and then people sometimes bounce, and this will hurt your Google ratings and all sorts of stuff. So I recommend keeping your images tight. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click on Insert Media, and that's going to insert our image here. And as you can see, we can't really see it because this whole section is pretty small. So first, what we can do to widen it out is, well, add stuff to it. So in order to add some widgets to it, I'm going to go to this little Rubik's Cube looking symbol right here and click on that. And here we're at all of our widgets that we can add. So first thing that we could add is maybe some text. So I'm going to add some heading text. So I'm just going to click on that and drag that in just like that. And then you can either type in this box right here to edit the text, or you can triple click and write right on the screen, which is really cool. So I'm just going to write some text. Cool, so how to make a, and then I'm going to put another one underneath that says WordPress website. So what I can actually do is just duplicate this one. So if you click all the way over here on the right, if you right click on that little pencil icon for this text widget, you can duplicate it like that. And I'm just going to write WordPress website. And the reason I did it like this is because I'm going to make these two different fonts. So first, what we're going to do is actually give some space in here, because we still can't see our image back there, and it just looks a little funny. So what we're going to do is click on these 6 dots for the section like that. And then we're going to go on over to the Advanced tab, and then you'll see padding. So if you've got this little link values together grayed out, that means as you increase this value, it will increase it on all of them, the top, bottom, right, and left, like that, and it'll give it some space. But in this case, we're going to get rid of those, and we're going to unlink these, and we're just going to add, let's say, maybe 150, whoops, not 4,000, 150 to the top and 150 to the bottom. Let's do 200 actually. Like that. And now we're going to go back to the Style tab right here. And underneath the image, we're going to set the position to center, like that. And then the size all the way down here at the bottom, we're going to say cover, because no matter how big or small the screen gets, it's always going to resize this image to cover this space. And then for the attachment, right now you can see it scrolls with the rest of the website. Well, you can get a cool parallax effect on desktop if you go to attachment and you change it to fixed. And then as you scroll up and down, the image stays in one place, which is really cool. Cool. So, and if you didn't want an image, you could add a gradient background, a video background that you can get from YouTube. You just copy the link and put it in, or even a slideshow. But in this case, I'm just going to leave it as one simple image. Okay, so let me show you how to change our text color and font. So for the first one, which is how to make a, I'm going to click on the little pencil icon for that one widget, and then that's going to open it up, which is just our heading right here. And I'm going to, so first you can actually change the alignment. So right now it's on the left. You can put it in the center if you want, the right, and so on. In this case, I'm going to leave it on the left. And then I'm going to go to Style. And then text color right here, you can change that. So you can make it white, black or whatever you want. I recommend white, really, if you're gonna, or if you have a really dark image, you know, you could put white, or if you have a really light image in the background, you can do black text. But I personally like white text. And then if you go over to typography and we just click on this little pencil icon there, you can change the font family. So if you click on default, there are all sorts of fonts in here, and these are all Google fonts that you can choose from. Like, I'll just select a random one. As you can see, it changes. And you can actually look up Google fonts to see every single one, and you can type it in and find it here. So, you know, if I wanted to do Open Sans, something like that, you can type it in and it's right there. But in this case, I'm just going to leave it as the default. And then you can change the size. So if you go to size, drag that up, you can make it really big, really small. In this case, I'll do, I don't know, like a 28, something like that. And then the weight, you can actually change how thin it is. So if I go to like a 200, you can see it's really light text. So in this case, I might want to make this a little bigger, maybe like a 40, like that. And then there's lots of other settings in here, like say line height or letter spacing, where, you know, letter spacing, you can drag that up or down and make it really close together or really far apart. But I'm gonna hit Control Z and go back to the way it was. By the way, that's a good quick tip. If you need to undo anything, you can always hit Control Z. And in the meantime, we're gonna be saving our work. So just go ahead and click on Update to save your work. Nothing sucks worse than losing all of your hard work. So now this next one, we're gonna change this one. So WordPress website, I'm gonna click on the pen icon, and again, go to Style, and I'm just going to change the color first. I'll bring that to like a white, and then I'm gonna go to typography, and we can actually just bring this up a bit. So let's bring the size up, maybe like a 40 as well. Cool. So now if you wanted to maybe close this gap in between the lines of text, you can actually edit the column settings as well. So anything that has a little square on it, like let's say a widget or a column, or even just these little 6 dots here, you can edit each one of these. So I'm going to click on the column, and you can edit those column settings. So column width, the vertical line, horizontal line, and even the widget space. So in this case, I'm going to give it maybe a space of about 1, make them a lot more close together, like that. And that basically means any widget that's inside this column is either going to get closer or further away. Okay, so now let's go ahead and add a button. So what I'm going to do is just go on up to the little Rubik's Cube looking symbol, and I'm going to click on that and then just drag in a button. So I'm just going to drag that in right there. There we go. And it's really close together right here. So let's go ahead and add some space around it first. So if we just go on over to the Advanced tab, we click on that and we just add some padding around it. So let's unlink these, give it a top value of maybe, I don't know, 25. And let's give it a bottom value of 25 just to be equal and safe, like that. Okay, so let's go back to content for the button. And for the button text, you can edit that right here. So we could say something like get started. And then we've got the link. So if we click on this and delete that little hashtag, you can put in any URL that you want this button to go to whenever somebody clicks on it. So I'm just going to leave it blank for right now. And then you can align the button. So center, left, right, whatever you want. And then the size I've got set to small automatically, so we can change it to extra large. It doesn't grow a whole lot. I think small is pretty good. And you can even add an icon to it. So if I just click on this and go to icon library, that will open up this whole library of different icons. And I could say, you know, put like an arrow, let's say like a right hand arrow like that, and then just click on insert. And there we go. We just added our little icon. But I'm just going to leave it blank. I don't really want to add an icon to this button. But you can edit the spacing. And then if we go over to style, here is where you can change the button text typography. If you click here, you can give it a shadow for the text. And then underneath normal, so you've got hover and normal. If you're on the normal tab, we can change the text color and the background color. So let's go ahead and give it a background color of maybe like a lighter blue. maybe something like that. There we go. And then if we go to hover, we'll go to background color again. We'll give it another blue, and then we're going to drag it darker down towards the bottom. You can see it gets darker. And now if we hover over it, you can see the button gets darker like that. So now that kind of indicates that, hey, you're hovered over the button and you can click on it. So I'll leave that like that. You can also give it a hover animation. So if I click on this, I can set it to grow. And if I kind of hover my mouse over, it grows a little bit, which I think looks pretty good. Or you can add all sorts of different ones in here. Bounce in, kind of bounces a little bit. There's lots of them. I think the more subtle, the better. So I'm just going to leave it set as grow. And then I'm just going to go back to normal. And here you can add a border to it. So if you go to border type, we can add that and create a solid border. And then if you just give a value to the width, that will give it, you can see there's like a little bit of a dark border around it. So you can make that really thick or really thin and change the color. So I could just change that to like a white, like that. Depends on what style you want to go for. I'm not really a huge fan of borders on buttons, but on some websites they do look really good. And then with border radius, if you just add some value to that, it will make it more of a circular button, which I think looks really good. So I'm going to leave it like that, and I'm going to get rid of that border. So I'm just going to go back to none, just like that. I think that looks pretty good. Cool. So really you can add all sorts of different widgets in here. I mean, there's videos that you can drag in. There's maps, icons, image boxes that you can use for, testimonials. There's galleries, all sorts of fun stuff in here. So just kind of play around in here. And that in a nutshell is how to use Elementor to build out a website. And that's just everything between the header and the footer. So I will show you a little bit later how to add stuff to your header and footer. So up here, we could add a menu that has different buttons that will jump to different parts of your website. I'll show you how to add a logo and all sorts of stuff. But moving forward, I made things very simple by creating a template for you to use to get the same look of the website I showed you in the very beginning of this video. So let me show you how to get that. If you just go on over to the description, you can download that template from the link below. And once you've done that, what we're going to do first is just actually click on the X to delete our hard work. Oh no, it's gone. It's all right. Don't worry. We're going to get it back and it's going to look a lot better. So once you've done that and you've downloaded the template from the description below, what we're going to do is just go on over to this little add template folder button right here and click on that. And then we're going to click on, so actually, as you can see underneath pages, you've got even more. So Astra had its own different templates and such. This has even more. Elementor has its own templates as well. So if you just scroll around, you can see some of them have pro. If they have that little pro icon, that means you have to pay for them. But some of them, like this one doesn't. And if you click on it, you can, browse around it and scroll around like that. And if you just click on insert, that will insert the whole thing. But in this case, I'm going to go back to the library and we're going to import that template that you downloaded below. So first, what we're going to do is just click on this little import template button, which is a circle with an arrow. And then I'm going to go to select file. And then you can see there's homepage 2020 create a pro website. It's a JSON file. So just go ahead and click on that and then just click on open. Cool. And you can see it right here. So now I'm going to go ahead and click on insert. And it's going to ask if it wants to import the document settings. We're just going to go ahead and say yes. Cool. And here is our template website. And of course, with the template, there's not any images or anything in here right now, but we're going to go ahead and replace all those background images and about me images, as well as edit all the text and just make it so much better. We're going to add a contact form and everything. But right now you've got at least the whole bone structure to start with. Okay, so let's go ahead and start customizing. So I showed you how to change the text and the font and the buttons and so on. So really what we just need to do to this background is change the image as well as the overlay. So let's change the image first. So I'm going to click on the 6 dots right here to edit the section. And then I'm going to go to Style, and then to Image. Underneath the classic background type, I'm going to choose an image. I'm going to choose that hero image again, and then just click on Insert Media. And there we go. There's our image, which is already set to center center. It's fixed, so it stays as we scroll. And then it's set to cover as the size. And now this image has a background overlay over top of it, which makes it a little bit easier to read the text. So let me show you what I mean. So I'm going to close background and go to background overlay. And then you can see background overlay, we have got a gradient color. And it's really, one side is clear, which is the right side. And then this side is kind of like a greenish, bluish color over here behind the words. So if I click on that, I will change it so you can see what that looks like. There we go. So that's a background overlay, and it's really just going right on top of the image, but behind the text. So black is a really good way to make sure you can read the text very well, but as a style choice, I chose to go with a little bit of color to this to kind of give it a theme. So that's how you can add, some customization to your website. If you've got a certain color, maybe this is like a company website or a personal one. If you've got like a color that you like, that's a good way to add some branding. So I'm just going to leave it like that. And with the gradient background, I'll show you. So if I actually take the location slider for the first color and put that around a 50-ish, and then the second one, we're going to put that around a 50 as well, that will create this hard line right here. And then if we change the angle, you can then change how that looks like that. So, maybe it's a style choice. You want to go with something like that. You can do that as well. And again, you can change the color behind here. And then there's also the opacity. So if you drag that down, it will get really light, or you can drag it up and make it a solid color like that. So it's pretty cool. But I'm going to hit Control Z and just go back to the way that it was. And again, if you want to edit the spacing up here, maybe you want to make it a smaller section, just going up to Advanced, and then the padding, you can just change that to go up or down to edit the spacing. But in this case, I like it as about 180 over 180, and I added about 45 pixels of space on both sides. And as I showed you earlier, just triple click and you can change this text, and then you can go to Style to change the font and everything else. Okay, so scrolling down to the next section, this is our About Me section. Again, you can go ahead and change that text. And first what we'll do is add some images. So these are actually image widgets. So super easy, you just click on it and then you just go on over to choose image. And I'm gonna go to upload files and then select files. And I'm actually gonna grab all of my images, everything except for the hero image that we already did. So I'm just going to hold Shift and I'm just going to click on the last one to select all of them, because we're going to end up using all of these at some point anyway. So we might as well just import them all right now. So I'm going to click on Open and then just give that a second to import. Okay, so now those are all done importing, and I'm going to grab this one, which is the About one. So if you're following along with me, I've named all these with the sections that they go to. So this is About one. So I'm going to click on Insert Media. And boom, there's my image, which if you go on over to Style up here, you can change how big it is with the max width, but I kind of like the default, it kind of fills the whole space. And then as you can see, there's also a little bit of a shadow behind this image. Well, if you go down here to Box Shadow and click on that, you can change what that looks like. So if I bring the spread up, you can see it back there. So it's pretty cool. I kind of like a little bit of shadow behind it. It's kind of subtle. All right, now I'm just going to replace these other two images really quick. There we go. And each one of these images is about 800 by 700 pixels. So it's a pretty good size. It's small enough that it'll load quickly, but big enough that, it's not losing a lot of detail. And then you can edit this text here if you just click on this. It's not a heading text like the ones up here. It's actually a text editor widget, and it works pretty much like any other text editor. You just type it in right here, and then if you go to paragraph, you can change whether it's actually a heading or not, but I just stick with the heading widget if I'm going to do a heading. But this is just simple text. And then if you go to Style, You can change the color of that text right here and the typography and everything else. And also you can create animations for pretty much anything on your website. So let me show you. So in this case, I'm going to do it for these columns because I want the text and the pictures and everything to all fly in at once. So I'm just going to select this column right here. And then I'm going to go to Style. I'm going to go to Advanced. And then go over to Motion Effects. And then I've got this set as a fade in left. So what happens is, here, I'll just say fade in, show you what it looks like, and then I'll go to fade in left. And you can see it kind of comes in from the left there, which is pretty cool. So you can change the animation here. There's all sorts of ones, zooming, just crazy ones. But I think the fade ins are pretty good. And you can change the speed, so you can do really slow, really fast. So that's how to change that here. And you can do that for an individual column, for individual widgets, or even an entire section itself. So I'm just going to leave it as normal. And then I'm just going to click on Update. Cool. So now in the background, you can probably see back here, there's kind of a subtle tilt of color right here. So I'm going to show you what that is. That's called a shape divider. It's really cool. So if we click on the 6 dots right here for this whole About Me section, and we just go to Style, and then we go to Shape Divider down here, you can see that at the top we have a tilt opacity, and you can see here's the color. So I'm going to make that a little more obvious so you can see it, something like that. So that is kind of a little divider between sections that you can add. So it's really cool. And you've got the top and the bottom. Right now we're hovered on the top, and I'm going to change it from tilt opacity to something else so you can kind of see. So there's different designs for each one. There's drops, kind of looks like paint dripping. There's just all sorts of cool stuff. And you can do all sorts of different colors on these. This is really one of my favorite features on here. But I really like the tilt opacity, and I'm just going to bring that back to kind of like a light gray, maybe with some green in it, kind of like what we've got at the top, maybe something like that. I think that looks pretty good. And then you can also change the height by bringing it up or down like that. And then you can also change the width, which is how much these lines are tilted. And again, you can add one to the bottom as well, and you can do this for any section that you want. Okay, so moving on to services, we can edit these little icons right here, so that's really cool. So if we just click on the little edit icon box button, that will bring it up here, and we can change the icon right here if you want. And again, if you open up the icon library, there's just tons of them in here, and you can search for anything you want. Let's say I wanted the Instagram logo, so I'll do Insta like that. And then I can grab the Insta logo right there. But I'm going to leave this as YouTube. And then you can edit the title for that right here. So I've got website tutorials written in there right now. And then you can edit the description text right here. And then you can also add a link. So if I wanted this to go to my YouTube channel, I can just go up to youtube.com/create a pro website like that. And there's my channel. So I'm just going to grab the URL right here and copy it. And then I can just go back in and paste that here. And then that way, whenever somebody clicks on that, it will take them to my website. And if you go to this little link options, this little gear icon right here, you can open that up in a new window if you want, which I do highly recommend. And if you want to change the color of that icon, you can just go up to Style, and you can change the size as well. But with color, you can just change that right here. You can change the spacing between the words and the icon. And then you've got the size. So if you want to make it huge, you can. And then as well as rotate. You can rotate it around if you want to give it like a little tilt like that. It's kind of cool. And then the content, if you click on that, you can change the text color, the typography, give it a shadow, whatever you want. And once you make one of these and get the text where you like it, you can just right click and duplicate it. And then you could just drag that to the next column if you want. You could delete these other ones, and all you have to do is change the icon and the title, and then they all look the same. But honestly, I think having this, grayed out text right here, I think it looks pretty good. You don't want to go with too many crazy colors. All right, so moving on, we've got our gallery. So what I'm going to do is replace the background in here first. So I'm going to go to the 6 dots up here, and then go on over to Style, and then go to Choose an Image. And then I'm going to choose this water, which is background 1, and then say Insert Media. And then this whole section's kind of small right now because our gallery doesn't actually have any photos in it. So if you click on the little edit icon button right here for the gallery, that'll open that up over here on the left. And we're going to select some images. So I'm going to hit this little plus icon, and I'm just going to get all of our gallery images. So it's this one, just pretty much all these last ones, all the way up till gallery 8. So this is gallery 1, this is gallery 8. And then I'm just going to say create a new gallery. And by the way, these are actually all the same size images. If you have different size images, they're going to come out looking kind of funny on the gallery widget itself. And I'll explain that a little more in just a sec. But all these are 1280 by 800. So just make sure all your gallery images are exactly the same size. Okay, so create new gallery. And then you can drag these around however you want them to appear, just like that. And then I'm just going to say insert gallery. Cool, and there's all of our images. So again, on that sizing, these are all 1280 by 800. Let's say you had one that was 1280 by 1000. Well, the bottom of it would be down here, and then it would throw this one off, and the whole thing would look a little janky. So having them all the same size makes sure that they all appear in this nice, perfect grid. And then the cool thing about this gallery is whenever somebody clicks on it, it's got this awesome light box that comes up. And if you just click on that widget again to edit it, you can also change the number of columns. So if you wanted to do, let's say 3 columns, you could do like that, or you could do 2 columns if you want the images to be even bigger, like that. Really just depends on what you're going for. I kind of like 4 columns. I kind of like all the images to be a bit smaller, and then anyone can just click on them if they want to view them a little bit larger. And then if we just go on over to Style, and then we're just going to move on to the videos section. So this, I'm actually going to add the exact same background with the water. So I'm going to click on these 6 dots for this section, go to Style, and then choose an image. And I'm going to go back to that same water, and then click on Insert Media. There we go. And as we move, it all looks like one image, which is really cool. So now for the videos. So if we click on the video widget right here, you can see we have our source set to YouTube, and you can also do Vimeo, Dailymotion, or self-hosted. YouTube is the most common, so you can enter in a YouTube link right here, which I already have set as a couple of my other videos on my channel. And then you can mess with some of the options down here, like make it loop or get rid of the player controls, autoplay, things like that. I don't really suggest autoplay. Whenever somebody comes to a website and all of a sudden this noise starts happening, nobody really likes that much, so I would leave that off. And then you can also do image overlay and add, another image on top. But I like my thumbnails, so I'm going to leave it just like that. And if you want to edit the size of these videos, what you can do is just go on over to the Advanced tab for that widget, and let's just add some space around it. So we'll just give it, we're actually going to link these values, and then you can just add some space around it like that, and that will make the video smaller or bigger. So just depends on what size you want to do, but the padding is the way to do that. But I kind of like these sizes right here. They perfectly fill these columns, so I'm just going to leave it. And then scrolling down, you've got a subscribe button right here, which you can change to whatever you want. Maybe you don't even want this whole videos section. You can actually delete it if you want. But in this case, if you wanted to, have a subscribe, you can just click on the button, and then this automatically has my subscriber URL right here, but you can change it to anything that you want. Scrolling down, we've got the Instagram section. So this is the follow me section. And right here, so first with these little buttons here for your social, if you just click on that, you can edit these. So we've got the Facebook icon. If you open that up, You can add your link to Facebook in here, and then the color is just set to the official color of that social media platform, or you can do custom and change it to whatever color that you want. And you can actually change that icon as well. Maybe you don't have a Facebook and you wanted to put something else in there, you can. And then same with Instagram and YouTube. They all work the same way. Or you can just click on Add Item to add another one. You can add a whole string of these things if you want to. Okay, so moving on to the Instagram section. So what we're gonna do is actually update down here at the bottom left, because we have not saved our work in a while, and you definitely wanna make sure that you're doing that. So after you update, what we need to do is we can just click on this, and you can see there's a little shortcode in here called Instagram feed. And I've automatically got that set. And if you don't, make sure that you type in that little shortcode and then click on apply. But it's not going to show up yet until we actually hook up our Instagram to our social photo feed plugin that we got earlier in the very beginning of the tutorial. So what we're going to do is just go over to this little hamburger looking symbol and then go to exit to dashboard. Cool. So on here, we're just going to scroll down and you'll see Instagram feed right here in the left-hand menu. Just click on that. And then if we just scroll down, you'll see a big blue button that says connect an Instagram account. And if you're already logged into Instagram, it will automatically log this in for you. So if I just click on that, I'm going to say that it's my personal account and then just click on connect. Cool. And there is my Instagram account that just showed up in green right here. And if it didn't, then you can just go over to button not working right here. And what you can do is just click here to get your Instagram access token. And you're basically just going to set this up manually. So I'm going to click here to get an access token. And again, this is my personal account that I want to do this for. Click connect. And it will likely ask you to log in to your Instagram. And whenever you log in, you'll get this little access token. Actually, it's not very little, it's pretty long. If you just copy that, like that, and then we're just gonna go back over to our WordPress dashboard, and we're gonna select manually connect an account, and then we're just gonna paste in that access token, and then just click on connect this account. And again, I already have mine hooked up, so all it did was just kind of green flash and replace this again. But that is how to hook up your Instagram. So now we're going to go over to customize up here because we have to mess with some settings. So if we go down all the way to number of photos right here underneath layout, we're going to change number of photos to 8 because 20 is kind of a lot. I think 8 is plenty. It's more than enough. And then we're also going to disable the mobile layout. And I'll show you what that looks like later towards the end of this tutorial, but that is important. And then we are going to scroll down, and then we're also going to change, so it says show bio text. We're just going to uncheck that. We don't really want our bio text to show. I mean, if you really do want to, you can leave it. I don't really like it. I think it kind of clutters things up. So I uncheck it. And then I'm also going to change the header text color to kind of like a light gray, maybe something like that, and then just click on Save Changes. Okay, and then lastly, if you just go on over to display your feed, this is where you can get that little shortcode right here, which is Instagram feed, but it's already hooked up automatically in the widget on our homepage, so I don't really have to worry about that. So I'm just going to go back over to my name and click on Visit Site. And I'm going to close out of this little access token right here. And then if we scroll down, there is our Instagram feed, which is really cool. And you can click on Load More if you want to, show more photos like that. And then they can also click on the follow button if they want. So it's a really cool tool. And as you update your Instagram, it will update live on your website, which is really cool. So you don't ever have to worry about updating this manually on your website. And now we're also going to edit the background back here because it's still blank. So we need to go back to Edit with Elementor. And then just scroll all the way to the bottom again, like that. And we're going to click on these 6 dots for this section. And then going over to Style. And then underneath image, we're going to choose an image. And I'm going to choose this one of the pine needles, the pine branch. And I'm going to click on Insert Media. And it's not going to show your Instagram right away. It's something about a refresh thing. It's kind of like a caching issue. So just click on Update, and then just go ahead and refresh the page. And then we'll scroll all the way to the bottom again, and there is our background. So working pretty good. And this one also has a overlay over top of it, as well as these sections as well. There's a kind of a dark overlay over these. So again, if you just go to the 6 dots, go to Style, and then you just close Background and go to Background Overlay. That is where you can change it. So there's the color right here, which is black, as well as the opacity. So you can drag that up or down depending on how dark you want it. But I think like a 0.7 is pretty good. And if you scroll down, we've got our blog section, and this one's pretty easy. So I'll actually be showing you this in a couple steps from now. So right now we're going to be skipping this one. So we're going to scroll down, and now we're down towards our contact section. So first, let's add a background to this one. So I'm going to click on the 6 dots, go to Style, go to Image, choose an image, and I'm just going to choose this water again, and then click on Insert Media, just like that. And then you can also change this info over here. So you can just triple click on anything to change the text. And then this is kind of a little icon box. It's an icon list, sorry. So if you click on the little pencil icon, you've got these little list items right here. So if you click on the email one to open it, you can see we've got email@yourdomain.com. You'd want to change this to your own. And by the way, if you want to learn how to get a professional email, then I will put a video link in the description to one of my other videos that explains how to do this for free. So check that out. And then we've also got phone number and address, and you can add or delete any one of these. And if you go on over to Style, you can change the icon color. So if you open up Icon, you can go to Color, and you can change that to whatever you want. You know, if you want to do like a light blue, looks pretty good. I think I'll leave it like that. And you can also change the size as well, but I think like a 25 is pretty good. Okay, so now we can move on to step number 6, which is to create a new contact form. So having a contact form on your website is a must-have. It allows anyone to be able to contact you professionally for inquiries or questions, or maybe you're selling product, whatever it might be. Having a contact form is just absolutely necessary for a professional website. And so what we can do is if we click on this little widget right here, this is a EAWP Forms widget, and EA stands for Essential Add-ons. So that's that extra plugin that we got in the very beginning of the tutorial. And the WP Forms widget is what we're going to use to create our new contact form. So in here you can see Select Form. There's actually nothing in this list right now, so we need to go make that contact form first. So what we need to do is just click on Update to save our work. And then we're just going to go up to the hamburger symbol right here, and then go to Exit to Dashboard. And then you'll see WP Forms right here in the menu. Just go ahead and go over to Add New. And then here you can select different templates. So you've got a blank form, which you can just add one by one to it. Or you've got simple contact form, which I recommend starting with because it works smarter, not harder. It's already got a few things in there like email, name, and so on. So let's go ahead and click on Create a Simple Contact Form. So as you can see, we've got our name, an email, and a comment or message. And these are all required fields. And if you want to add a new field here, then these are the different options that you have over here on the left. So let's say that we wanted to add like a phone number. I can just click on numbers right here, and it's just going to add it to the bottom here. And you can just click and drag to reorder these. So I'll put that right above message. And if you want to rename these different fields, you can just click on it. And then you can see we've got label right here. I'll just change that to phone number. And I'm not going to make this one required, but if you wanted to, you could just check this right here. And I'm also going to rename this comment or message. I'm going to click on that and name it to just message, like that. And now the next thing that I'm going to do is make these top 3 fields larger so that they actually meet up with this message box. So this message box goes all the way to the edge, And I think the contact form will look a lot better if they all do that. So I'm going to click on name, and then underneath advanced options, I'm going to go down to field size and change that to large. And as you can see, now it has enlarged this field so it goes all the way to the edge. So I'm going to do that with email. Go over to advanced options, and then field size, change that to large, just like that. And then again with phone number, I'm going to go to advanced options, and then field size, I'll change that to large. Now they all meet towards the edge, just like that. So you can also change the name of your contact form. So I'm just going to click on simple contact form right here, and it will take us into our settings over here, and we're underneath general. And the form name, it doesn't really matter that much because nobody's really going to see it, but I'm just going to call it Dale's contact form, but you would want to put your own name. But again, nobody's going to see that, so it's really just for you whenever it shows up in your inbox. And then you can change the submit button text if you scroll down. So it just says submit by default and then sending. I think that's pretty good, so I'm just going to leave them. And then if you go over to notifications, and here is where you can change the email that you want these messages to be sent to. So whenever somebody fills out your contact form and clicks send, this is the email that they're going to go to. And automatically there's this little short code that says admin email. And this is going to the same email that you used to sign up for WordPress with. So if you did want to change it to something else, you could just delete it and put in a different email. Or if you wanted to go to that admin email and then maybe a couple different ones, you can just add a comma and then add a new email address. Just like that. But in this case, I just want it to go to the admin email, so I'm just going to delete that one and delete the comma and just leave it like that. And the email subject is how you want it to show up in your inbox. So it's going to come up with new entry from, let's just say, Dale's contact form or your own contact form. And then it's going to say from this website. So I could just leave that the way that it is. And then we're going to go over to confirmation. And here you can change the success message. So whenever somebody submits a new message, it will come up and say, thanks for contacting us. We'll be in touch with you shortly. You can change that right here if you want to, or you can actually have it go to a completely different page on your website, which you can just select here, or you can go to a completely different URL if you want to, a completely different website. But in this case, I think the message is perfect. So now I'm just going to go ahead and click on save, and then just click on the X. And there you go. Now you can see Dale's contact form was just added to our WP forms list, and it should say your contact form. So now we're going to go back to our website and go to visit site, and then we're going to go back to edit with Elementor, and then just scroll all the way to the bottom, all the way down to our contact form right here, and then just click on the widget, and then we're just going to go to select a form. And I'm just going to say Dale's contact form. And there we go. There is our contact form. And again, this is why I wanted these fields to go all the way to the end here, because as you can see, it all fits nicely in this one column. And you've got a few settings over here where you can toggle on and off the description and labels and so on. But I've got automatically the custom title and description off, as well as the title, so it doesn't actually show Dale's contact form up here. And then if you go over to style, here is where you could change like the submit button color and some settings with it. So if we just scroll down to submit button right here and open that up, and just scroll down again, you can change the alignment, so whether it's in the center or the right or the left. And then you can also change the width. You can make it really big if you want to, but I think small is fine, maybe something like 100. Like that. And then you can change the hover color as well as the normal color. So right now we're in normal and we've got kind of this blue color. So I'll open that up. Maybe, yeah, we'll leave it as blue. And then hover, I'm going to go to kind of a darker blue, maybe like down here, like that. So it looks like that. Oops. I'm going to go back to submit button. There we go. And then you can also add a border to it as well as make it a circular button. So if I go to border radius and make that like a 25, it will add this kind of circular edge to it, make it more of a circular button. Cool. And if we just go up, we can go to labels, and you can change the labels color if you want to as well. And then we can also go to advanced, and if you wanted to add, or sorry, make the whole contact form smaller, you can just add some padding around it and it will kind of tighten things up like that. But honestly, I like the full contact form, takes up the whole space, gives some people some real estate to work with. Okay, now just click on update. And before we move on to the next step, I want to show you something with the buttons where you can make jump buttons. So let's just use this button all the way at the top. I'm just going to click on that to edit this button. And you can see underneath the link, we've got this little hashtag. And so what we can do is if we want this button not to go to a different page, but to just jump to a different section on our website. So let's say it's the About section here. Well, we've got, if we open up the About section, so I'm just going to go to Edit section for the About, and we go to Advanced, and we go down to CSS ID, you can see that I've automatically named it to About. So once you give it this name, what you can do is go back to the button, and then if you go to link and just do hashtag About, like that, well now if we click on the button, it will jump down to the About section, which is really cool. And these are all named corresponding to their names here. So this one, this whole section is called Services. Then we've got Gallery, Videos, and so on. So if you just go into the 6 dots, go to Advanced, and then just go to CSS ID, you can see this one's called Services. So this button would jump to that if we named it hashtag Services. So now that leads us to step number 7, customize your header. So here is where we're going to be adding to our header. We're going to be adding menu items right here. So these are going to be more buttons that jump to different parts of our website. We're going to be adding a logo here and getting rid of this text up here and just customizing the whole thing. So first we're just going to go click on update, and then I'm going to go to the hamburger looking symbol right here and then go to exit to dashboard. And now just go back up to your site name and click on visit site. And then I'm going to click on customize right here. Cool. So from here, what we can do is just click on the little pencil icon, which is next to our website name right here. We're just going to click on that, and it's going to take us to our logo section right here, which is underneath header and site identity. And you can see that we can select a new logo. So first we need to actually create a new logo. So let me show you how to do that. First thing that we're going to do is just open up a new tab, and we're going to go to logo maker without the e.com. And then we're just going to close out of this little tutorial because I'm going to show you how to use it real quick. And then you can just kind of skip through this little tutorial here until we've got a nice blank screen. So in order to create a new logo, well, first we need the logo or the icon itself. So if we just go on up here to the search bar that says search over 1 million graphics, if we actually just type in whatever we want, it will show us tons of different icons. So for this case, I'm going to say mouse pointer because I'm going to do like a logo for a website, making website. I don't really know how to explain that, but yeah, there's tons of different icons in here. You can just keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and there're just tons of different mouse pointers. And it just keeps going. I don't think I've ever actually made it to the bottom of the list before. So once you find one that you like, you can just grab it. And in my opinion, the simpler, the better. So once you grab it, you can resize it if you just click on the corner and drag it up like that. And if you click in the middle, you can drag it around wherever you want it. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. And by the way, you don't just have to search. There's all sorts of different categories as well. So if you go to browse all logos, it's this little Rubik's Cube looking symbol. You can browse by nature, shapes, all sorts of different stuff. If you go to shapes, I mean, there's just tons of different stuff in here. So feel free to play around in here. They've just gotten millions and millions of different logos. Okay, so let's go back to the canvas. And next you can put in some text. So actually first we can change the color. So if you just click on this, You can change the color over here by clicking anywhere around the wheel like that. And then you can change the saturation right here as well. But I'm going to leave this as black. And then I'm going to add some text. So if we just click on little T for text, that will add some in. And we'll just say create a, actually let's do all caps. Create a website like that. And I'm just going to grab the corner and drag it up kind of like that. And I'll make that black as well, just so I can see it. And I'm just going to drag this down a little bit. And then I'm also going to bring this down as well. So it's kind of like that, kind of side by side. It's looking pretty good. And you can change the text font as well. So if we just go on up here to simple and modern, this is the font category. We're going to open that up and you can just pick all sorts of different ones. There's fun and funky, where you can change it to, you know, all sorts of crazy looking ones if you want. I recommend picking one that kind of matches your icon over here. So this one's kind of thin. So what I'm going to do is just go back to simple and modern. And then I'm going to grab one over here that kind of fits that thin style. Maybe Open Sans, kind of like that. It's not a bad one. So I like that. Now, instead of saving this out as black, what we're going to do is save it out as white. And what I'm going to do is actually make this header right here transparent. So we're going to change it from white to transparent, and then we're going to have that white logo sitting right here in our corner. So I'm going to go back to Logo Maker, click and drag a box to select both. And then I'm just going to go to white up here on the wheel. And now we can't really see it anymore right here, but that's okay. And then just go up to Save Logo up at the top right. And then it's going to say, hey, do you want to buy this high resolution file for 19 bucks? We're going to say, no thanks, download the low resolution file. And it's just going to say that you should credit Logo Maker. So you can put it somewhere on your website, anywhere really, that says logo by Logo Maker. So in this case, I'm just going to say, no thanks, download the low resolution file, which is free. And there we go. I just hit our downloads right there. So I'm going to go over to my website. And the next thing that we're going to be needing is our favicon, which is also called our site icon right here. So that's actually this symbol right up here. It's at the top left. It's the little browser icon. So this one's like some shapes for Logo Maker, and then ours is kind of like a gator. So we're going to create that little icon as well. So I'm going to go back to Logo Maker and then click on the X. And I'm just going to delete our text, get rid of that. And I'm going to select our icon, drag it towards the middle, make it black. And then I'm just going to drag it up. You can make it whatever color you want, but I think black is pretty good. Maybe something like that. Make it nice and big. And then what we're going to do is go down to the bottom right and go to crop. And what you want to do is, this is actually perfect, but if your icon is not a complete circle, it's, you know, something that's wider than it is tall or taller than it is wide, then you would want to adjust this square to where it fills around the icon like that. And then you would want to click on enter. And that will, oops, I don't know what's going on here. You can delete that. There we go. So once you click enter, it will crop the image like that. And then this is what you would want to save out. So now I'm just going to go to the save button. And then no thanks, I'll download the low resolution file. There we go. So now our site icon just hit our downloads as well. Okay, so now I'm going to go back over to WordPress. And then I'm just going to go to select a logo right here. And then I'm just going to close out of my downloads. Then I'm going to go to upload files and then select files. And then I'm just going to grab the logo right here and then just click on open. And then select. And then it's going to ask me if I want to crop, but I can't actually see it because it's white. So I'm just going to say skip cropping. Cool. So now I just put it in, and obviously it, moved this over, and then the whole thing got bigger, and the whole thing's still white. So we have to do a little bit of work first on that. But first what I'm going to do is just change the site icon before I get into that. So go to select site icon right here, and then go to upload files, and then go to select files. And then we're going to grab the site icon and then just click on open. And then select. And then we're just going to say skip cropping. And you can kind of see a preview of what it actually looks like right there. So now skip cropping. And there we go. There is our site icon right there. So it's looking pretty good. Okay, so now let's go ahead and fix this header right here. Let's make it transparent. So actually, first what we want to do, before we do that, scroll down, and we're going to get rid of this title right here, this How to Make a WordPress Website 2020, or whatever yours might say. We're going to uncheck Display Site Title, and then that will get rid of it. Okay, so with that done, we're going to go to the back button, and then just go down to Transparent Header. And then we're going to enable on complete site. Just check that. And there we go. Now it is a transparent header, and you can see our logo right here. And the logo looks a little big, so let's make that a little bit smaller. So we're going to hit the back button and then go back over to site identity again, where our logo was. And the logo width, we're just going to bring that down. So maybe something small, kind of like that. Maybe let's do like an even 200. I like that. It's subtle. And then just click on publish to save your work. Cool. So that's looking pretty good. Now the next thing that we need to do is add some items to our menu right here. All we have is home page and sample page, which we're actually going to be getting rid of both and then adding some new ones. So what we need to do is just click on the back button and then just going over to primary menu and then hit the back button one more time. And we're back to our main menu. So what we're going to do is just go down to menus. And then from here, we're going to create a new menu. And we're just going to say primary menu, like that. And then we're going to say the menu location is going to be primary menu, which is just this area right up here. This is primary. And then you've got your footer, which is down below. So you can also create a new one that will go in this footer area. But for now, we're just going to focus on the one at the top. Okay, so now just click on next. And then let's just add some items to it. So just click on add items. And then automatically it's got the pages opened up. So if you click here, you can see pages, and then we've got home, home page, and sample page, but none of those are what we want to add. What we want to add are some custom links. And these are going to be buttons that jump to different parts of our website. So I'm going to go to custom links, and then for the first one, I'm just going to say about, and then for the URL, I'm just going to say hashtag about, just like that, and then add to menu. And then if I just go to hide controls down here, I'm going to hide these just so you can see. So we're going to change the color so that you can actually see it. But for now, you can see the buttons up here, and if I click on it, boom, jumps to our about section. So now let's add the rest. So I'm going to click on this little button to open up our controls again, and then go back to add items. And then underneath custom links, we're going to do the next one, which is services. And then hashtag services. And then add to menu. And then we'll do gallery, or you could do like portfolio, and then just do hashtag gallery. And if you name it portfolio, just make sure that you do hashtag gallery, because remember that CSS ID that I showed you earlier still says gallery on it. So it needs to match whatever that CSS ID was. Okay, so with that said, we'll do add to menu, and then we'll do videos, hashtag videos, add to menu, and we'll do follow me. And then we'll do hashtag follow me, and then add to menu. And then we'll just do contact, and then hashtag contact, and then add to menu. And you can reorder these however you want. So, if you wanted to switch them around, you can just click and drag. And you can even create a drop-down menu if you wanted to. So let's say that you were doing, like an e-commerce store or something like that, and you had a clothing option and you wanted like men and women option. Well, I'm going to use these buttons just for the sake of not having to make new ones. But if you wanted to create a drop-down menu, all you have to do is click and drag over to the right to create kind of this stair-stepper effect. And then that way, if we hide our controls, if you go over to About, there's a little arrow, and then we've got a drop-down for services. And in this, in the example's sake, it would be clothing, and then you could do men or women, or whatever it might be that you're trying to create a drop-down for. Okay, opening this back up, I'm going to put that back to where it was, and then we're just going to click Publish to save our work. And now we need to change the color of this. So they're working great. If we click on them, they're jumping to different parts of our website, which these all seem to be working pretty well. Awesome. So now we need to make sure that they're more visible. So let's just click on the back arrow and then click on the back arrow again. And then go down to header right here. And then for transparent header, just click on that. And we're going to go down and we'll just grab the menu right here. It says colors and background. We're underneath menu. Click on the little pencil icon. And that's going to open up some text. So we'll see link text color. Let's just change that to a white. So let's just drag to white, just like that, so we can see it. It's pretty cool. And if you want to edit the hover color, just click on hover. And again, scroll down and then click on select color. And you can do whatever you want. Let's say green, turns green. But I am going to do kind of like a light blue, just kind of like our button here. Just like that. I think that looks pretty good. And then just click off. And again, click on publish to save your work. Cool. So now our menu at the top is looking and functioning awesome. So that's pretty cool. And while I'm here, I'll show you how to edit your footer at the bottom as well. If you wanted to add a new menu to this, you could. So what we're going to do is just click on the back button and then back one more time. And then we're going to go back down to menus. And then we're going to create a new menu. And then we're just going to call this footer menu. And then we're just going to put this in the footer menu area right there. And then just click on next. And then let's add some items. And these, we're actually going to add some pages. So I'm going to close custom links and go to pages. And this will actually create a new page right here. So in your menu at the bottom, your footer at the bottom, it's usually best to have like a terms and conditions and a privacy policy and things like that. So for this, let's just say privacy policy like that. And then we'll just say add. And then we'll do terms and conditions like that, and then just click add. And then maybe like a cookie policy if you're using cookies. And then just click on add. There we go. So now we've got all three of our menu items right here. And then what we're going to do is just click on the back arrow and then back one more time. And then just go down to footer right here. And then go to footer widgets. And then go to footer bar. And then what we can do is you can change the text right here. So right now it says copyright 2020, how to make a WordPress website 2020. So we will maybe get rid of, let's say powered by Astra WordPress theme. If you don't want that, just delete it right there. And we'll just leave it just like that. And then this is in section 1, which you can see is set to text, and that's this. And then you've got section 2, which you can set to be a footer menu right here. And then there we go. There are our pages right there, buttons to our pages, I should say. And now our footer is complete. So actually one more thing, we'll change the border size. Right now there's a little tiny white border. We'll change that to 0, and that will get rid of that. And then underneath colors and background, you can go to background and open that up, and you can change the border background. So for background color, maybe I want to do something a little bit darker. Maybe something like that. I kind of like a darker footer. So that's how to change that. Okay, now you can just go up to publish. Okay, now for step number 8, I'm going to show you how to create a new page. So knowing how to create a new page is really important, because if you wanted to create, let's say, a separate page for about, maybe you have a whole about me page that you want to do, well, you'd have to create a separate page. So in order to do that, we're just going to click on the X to get out of this menu. And then I'm just going to go back to my website name and then go to dashboard. And then if you want to make a new page, you can just go over to pages over here on the left-hand menu and then just go to add new. And then just give it a title. So I'm just going to say about me. And then I can just add like a new image here. So this whole thing works exactly like Elementor, but it's a little more basic and it's editing kind of on the back end of WordPress. So what you can do is just go to add a block. And then I'm just going to select the image. You can also add a gallery or, a quote, all sorts of different stuff in here. There's tons of different widgets. In this case, I'm just going to grab an image. And then I'm going to go to media library. And I'll just grab one. I'll just grab this one of this girl. And then say select. And there's our image. And you can resize it if you just click and drag like that. And then you could just hit enter. And you could start writing a bunch of stuff about yourself, a little excerpt about yourself, or maybe if it's a company, you write about the company. In this case, I'm just going to paste some dummy text like that. And then once you've written this all out, made it look pretty, then you can just go on over to publish and then publish again. And then you can also edit this with Elementor as well. So if you wanted to make it like super customized, kind of like we did with the home page, then you could just edit with Elementor. But if you're going to edit with Elementor, then just make sure that you go over to document and then change the template from default template to Elementor full width. That is a must do if you're going to edit with Elementor. But in this case, we're just going to use the basic WordPress editor. So I'll just say update, and then I'm just going to preview it. And then there is our new page. So it's looking pretty good. And so now I'm just going to close out of this. And we can move on to step number 9, which is how to create a blog post. So a blog is awesome. It's basically just a website that's being constantly updated with new articles and information about a certain niche. So let's say that you really love to be outdoors and hiking, then you could do a travel blog or just an outdoor blog. Or if you're really into electronics, you could do an electronics blog, or maybe just cameras, or maybe just TVs, whatever it is that you're into. You can write about literally anything. I've even seen blogs about beards for men, and it's all about beard growth and grooming. It's crazy. And it's a really successful blog that makes thousands of dollars a month. So if you did want to create a blog, in order to create a new blog post, all you have to do is just go on over to posts, and then just go over to add new. And then it works just like the pages editor. So you can just give it a title. So I'll just make one up. And then again, I'll just give this one an image. So I'll just go to add a block and then go over to image and then media library. And I'll just grab the one of this guy surfing and then click on select. And there's my image. And then you would want to write the best surf spots in Hawaii. So I would just, write like number 1 and then write whatever it is that number 1 is. And then write some information about it. So in this case, again, I'll just paste some dummy text. And then you would just want to write your blog post like that. This is a really simplified form of a blog post, just to give you an idea, but that's how to create one. And then I would just go on over to publish and then publish again, just to save my work. And then you would actually want to add a featured image as well, which is really good for Google. And it will also recognize this on your home page. So if we just go on over to document right here, and then just scroll down to featured image, and then just click on set featured image. I'm going to grab the one of him surfing again, just to keep things simple, and then say set featured image, just like that. And then just click on update. There we go. And now I'm just going to create one more blog post on my own just so I can show you what the home page is going to look like when it's got all 3 of our latest blog posts on there. Okay, so now I've created my blog posts, which you can see them here. I'm in posts and all posts, and you can see I've got the default one, which is hello world, and then a couple of them that I've created. So now I'm going to go to my website and go to visit site, and then just scroll all the way to the blog section. And there are all of our blog posts, and they've all got their featured images on them, so they're looking really good. And then you could just click on this and it would take you to that blog post. And as you create new ones, it will update these as well. And if you want, you could just go into Edit with Elementor, and you could actually change how many that you want it to display. You could change how they look and everything as well, but I'm not going to get too far into that. Okay, so step number 10 is to edit for mobile and tablet. So making sure that your website looks great on mobile and tablet as well as desktop is very important, because over 52% of global online traffic is done on a mobile device, meaning that more people are actually browsing the internet on their phones than they are on a laptop or a desktop, which is crazy. So you want to make sure that your website looks great on both. So what we're going to do to do that is just go on over to Edit with Elementor. And then if you look here at the bottom left, you'll see a little responsive mode button with a little computer on it. If you click on that, you can change it to tablet or mobile. So I'm just going to say mobile right now. We're going to do that one first. And as you can see, well, it got rid of our top image. The rest of them are all still there. But as you can see, it gives you this awesome little mobile phone simulator where you can scroll down and just make sure that your whole website looks great, which it looks like everything else is looking awesome. Our blog section's working, contact, yeah, everything's looking great except for that top image. And there's a reason for that. I did that on purpose because if you click on the edit section, you can add a separate mobile image for the background. So if we just go to style, and then you can see there's this little symbol of a mobile phone. So if we were on desktop, I'll just change this back so you can see, it changes to a little desktop symbol. So this is that image for desktop, and then if we go to mobile, we can set a separate one. So I'm going to say choose image, and then I've got a hero image mobile right here that's taller than it is wide, and that's specifically designed for the mobile phone. So I'm going to say insert media, and that one's about 1,000 by 1,200 pixels or so, in case you wanted to make your own. So insert media, and there it is. There is our picture in the background. So it's pretty cool. And as long as there's this little symbol of the mobile phone next to it, whatever you change on any one of those settings is only going to be affected on mobile and not tablet or desktop, and then vice versa for the rest. So let's say that I wanted to edit, something, let's say some of this text. If I go to style and I'll go to typography just to show you an example. I could edit the size because it's got the little symbol next to it. I could make it, let's say just to show you, it's really small on here. Well, if I go back to desktop, it's back to normal again. So it's only edited that way on mobile, which doesn't look good. So I'm going to put it back to the way that it was. So really, as long as it has that little symbol, then you're fine to edit. But if it doesn't have that symbol, then it's probably going to change it on everything. But just make sure that all of your spacing and everything is looking great. So if something isn't spaced properly, if you go to advanced, it's most likely the padding. And the padding has its own little mobile phone next to it as well. So whatever padding you change here won't change on desktop. And then again, you'd also want to go to tablet and make sure that tablet is all looking good as well, which it looks like it is. So it doesn't look like we need to edit anything on tablet either. Cool. So just click on update. All right, now step number 11 is to publish your website. So we are finally done editing our website and we can now publish it because everything is functioning properly and looking great. So in order to publish, I'm just going to go to the little hamburger looking symbol up here and then go to exit to dashboard. And then I'm just going to go up to dashboard. And then you should have a notification right here that says your site is currently displaying a coming soon page. Once you're ready to launch your site, click here. So all you have to do is just click here. And then boom, you'll get a little congratulations message right here that says your site is now ready to be viewed. So just click here to view it. And boom, there is our site. Everything's looking good. Awesome.